we'll be talking about the accounting module, how exactly the accounting module is working inside the system. So this is the look and feel of the accounting module. If you just come to the screen, just by looking into the overview, you can see that how many invoices are waiting for validation. So you can click on those items and you would be able to get the details there. Sorry, just give it a minute. And how many unpaid invoices are there? What is the total value of that? You can also see that how many vendors bill are are waiting to pay. What is your balance in your bank? And these are the different banks. What is the balance on each bank? What is the balance on the cash? So this is just a nutshell of it. Now, what we're going to do here is, if there is any customer's invoice, you can click on this customer and invoice. You would be able to see all the invoices under the customer's invoice. Now you can see that whether it is open or paid or draft, all those details would be available inside. Now, uh, just to see the credit notes or create a credit notes, you can see the credit notes under the credit note tab. So there are two types of credit notes which you can issue. The number one credit note is like a credit note against an invoice. So let's say that you have 2,520 is a value, and for some reason you have a credit note to be passed for 500 dirhams or 600 dirhams. So you can actually create a credit note just by clicking on that credit note button, and then it comes up with a new screen. You can actually tell what amount are you giving the credit note against. So I'm just giving a credit note for 500, and I can validate it. So like this, you can issue your credit notes how much ever you would like to issue against the customer. Now, if you look at it, you can see that this credit note is against the invoice number, which is tagged to the invoice. Now, similarly, there might be situations where you don't want the invoice to be tagged, but you just want to create a credit note against a vendor. Even that can be done by just selecting the customer and putting it as, you know, whatever the vendor's name. I'm just selecting customer's name here. Now, I can just tell that credit for ABC. I'm not putting any details there, and I can tell that I'm giving 1,000 dirhams or 1,000 Saudi riyal. I can save it and I can validate it. So this is how you can create the credit notes. Now all the invoices and credit notes can be tallied against it. So that means that if there is any, let's say that payments which is pending, so there is a 2,300 something which is pending there, and if you want to have a credit note to be tallied, you can actually have a credit note which can be uh, confirmed and validated against it. So let me show you how you can do it. So when you validate any credit notes, it'll straight away come back and show you that whatever customer payment is pending. So there is two customer payment pending. You can map it against any one of that. So that invoice will be having that 1,150 reduced amount there. So if you come back and if you look at the invoice, you can see that this one has been actually deducted with your credit note balance, whatever the balance was there. And there you go, you can see that exact details here. So like this, you can have all the credit note and invoice management. That's the same functionality for bill and debit notes or refunds. Now payments, you can either straight away make the payments to the customer. So let's say that I have a 2,000 dirhams received from Apple Inc. I can just mention that 2,000 here, and I can save it. If I want to give the check number or something, I can give there, or else I can just save it and confirm it. So it will straight away come back and ask me, do you want to do a payment matching? Why did you receive this 2004? So I can click on this payment matching, where it will go and pull up all the invoices pending with that customer. So my amount is 2,000. I can tell that I'm actually taking that 2,000 against the invoice number mentioned as 05, and I can reconcile it. So what will happen here is it is done with the reconciliation, and right now the balance amount is 520. So if you go to the invoices, you can see that there is the 05 invoice, which you can see here. which is having 520 as the due amount. So that way you can manage your payments, and you can manage your credit and debit note with the customer. Apart from that, if in case you want to have any journal entries or something which needs to be created, you can have the journal entries created. You can tell that what account against what account. The typical, you know, let's say that if you want the bank, and I have an expense of, let's say that furniture, I can tell what is the values and debit and credit, and I can pass it against it. Not passing an entry here, but which is normal with any any accounting package. Now, when you look at the other activities, what you can do, you can have a tax adjustments inside the system. You can mention the reason, what is the adjustment you're going to do it, on what date, what is a debit account and what is a credit account, and it will do the tax adjustments for you. You have the reconciliation for process inside it. Right now, there is no statements imported. I'll show you what it is. And we have a lot of functionalities under the configuration. So for example, if you have multiple currency, you can come back here. You can tell that what all currencies are available. So if you look at it, you have n number of currencies here, but out of 171 we have only activated 4 currencies. So you can have more currencies if you have more currencies in your system. Under the chart of account, you would be able to create any additional accounts which you would like to create. So these are the chart of accounts what you have there. But if in case you would like to add more, you can actually add more as well. You can see that these are the receivable. If you want additional receivable or payable or bank or cash, you can keep on creating it here. Taxes can be created here, and you can map each of these tax into what percentage and what account it needs to come in. Now there is something called as inclusive of the tax and exclusive of tax. Odoo supports both the type of taxing. So let's say that if you go to a small bakala and purchase something like 10 real or 5 real item, you might not be able to get exact tax value for that. But if in case you want to deduct those values, you can have another one more tax created called as inclusive of tax, and you would be able to manage it. uh, the bank creations, journals, you can create your own journals, whatever you would require it. Journals are pretty much the same as your ledgers, so you can create n number of journals here. And cash rounding, payment terms, what are the payment terms that you have there? So right now we have created 5 payment terms for you, but if in case you have a new payment terms, you can tell us. That's like, advance of 60%, then on payment or whatever it is, you can tell us. uh, we do have fixed asset budgeting and other modules which we have not connected at this point of time. But if you do have any queries on that, you can let us know. We can address that. Now, on the reporting side of it, you have a standard reporting here, which is for extracting the data into Excel format. So if you just click on this Excel, it will generate all the general ledger, create a short video on that specific point, and we'll be able to address those queries. Thank you very much.